Hey everyone and welcome. Today, we're going to crack open the digital brain of your computer to really understand one of its most important parts, its memory.
I mean, seriously, have you ever stopped to think about it? How in the world does it keep track of your documents, your games, that email you started writing, from one second to the next?
Well, the answer lies in a process that's actually a lot like how our own brains work. So we're going to explore the computer's version of a brain.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What exactly is this digital brain we call computer memory?
At its core, computer memory is basically any physical part of your computer that can hold on to information, whether that's just for a split second or for 10 years. Its whole job is to store data and instructions so that the computer's processor, the CPU, can grab them whenever it needs to get something done. This right here is the absolute best way to think about it. When you need to remember a phone number, you pull it from your brain, right? Well, when a computer needs to run a program, it pulls the instructions from its memory. It's really that simple. It's the machine's own personal information center.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. See, not all memory is the same. Your computer actually has two different kinds of memory that have to work together. And the best way, the absolute best way to understand them is with a super simple analogy, a work desk and a filing cabinet.
So let's break this down. Think of primary memory as your desk. It's where you put everything you're working on right now for super fast access. It's incredibly quick, but it's a temporary workspace. Then you've got secondary memory. That's your big filing cabinet. It's for all your long-term storage. Yeah, it's a little slower to get things out of it, but it's permanent and has a ton of space.
All right, so let's zoom in on that busy workspace first, the desk. What exactly is primary memory?
Primary memory is often called main memory, and for a very good reason. It is the only memory that communicates directly with the CPU. And that direct line, that's what makes it lightning fast. When you double-click an icon to open a program, it gets loaded right into this primary memory so the processor can work with it instantly.
Now this desk is split into two main parts, RAM and ROM. RAM, or random access memory, is where all your open apps and active files are living. But, and this is super important, it's volatile. What does that mean? It means if you pull the plug, everything on it vanishes. Poof, gone. Just like wiping your desk clean at the end of the day. ROM, or read-only memory, is the complete opposite. It's non-volatile. It holds the essential permanent instructions your computer needs just to turn on. You can't really change it, which is why it's called read-only.
And of course, because it's technology, it gets even more detailed. You've got different flavors of RAM and ROM, things like DRAM and SRAM, or PROM and EPROM. They're all designed for slightly different jobs. Some are faster, some use less power. But honestly, the big takeaway is still that key difference between the fast, temporary RAM and the permanent, unchangeable ROM.
Okay, so we've covered the desk. Now let's go over to that big, sturdy filing cabinet. We're going to explore the archive, the long-term storage, also known as secondary memory.
This is where all your stuff actually lives. Your photos, your documents, your games, the operating system itself, it's all stored here for good. And because it's non-volatile, you can shut down your computer for a month, turn it back on, and all your files are right there, safe and sound, just waiting for you.
And when I say storage, I mean a massive amount of space. Your primary memory, your RAM, is usually measured in gigabytes, right? Well, a typical secondary storage device like a hard drive is often a terabyte or even more. That's over 1,000 gigabytes. It's like a gigantic digital warehouse.
You actually use secondary memory all the time, probably without even thinking about it. The main one is your computer's internal hard disk drive, of course, but also those little USB pen drives you carry around. Yep, that's secondary memory. Even older stuff like floppy disks and CDs, they're all just different kinds of filing cabinets.
So, how do the desk and the filing cabinet work together? It's actually a really simple process. Imagine you're writing a document. Right now, that document is sitting on your fast, temporary desk, the RAM. Then you click the Save button. What happens? The computer makes a copy of that document and files it away in the permanent filing cabinet, your hard drive. And that's it. That's the journey every single file takes when you save it.
So now that we've explored the desk and the filing cabinet, let's zoom out and put it all together and look at the complete memory map.
And here it is, the whole structure in one shot. At the very top, you've got computer memory. That splits into our two main types, primary and secondary. Primary, our desk, breaks down into the temporary workspace of RAM and the permanent startup instructions of ROM. And secondary, our filing cabinet, is where you find all our long-term storage like hard drives and pen drives. See? Everything has its own specific job in this digital brain.
So the crucial point, the one thing to remember from all this is that you absolutely need both. A computer is totally useless without the fast desk and the big filing cabinet. You need that fast, temporary primary memory to get work done efficiently. And you need that huge, permanent secondary memory to store your work for later. They really are two essential halves of the same brain.
And that leaves me with a final thought for you. Next time your computer feels like it's grinding to a halt, you know the feeling, you've got 100 tabs open and everything's slow. Think about what we just talked about. Which part of your computer's memory, which part of its brain do you think is the bottleneck?